Now, you'll note how the Ten Commandments are described here, right? This is a covenant. The Ten Commandments aren't called a covenant back in Exodus. This is Dee's peculiar understanding of them. These laws, the Ten Commandments, constitute the law for the wilderness. They are, in a sense, a dry run for the real covenant that's going to come later. That is the one that's based on Deuteronomy's own laws, the one that make up Deuteronomy 12 through 26, 28, what we read last time. Right? Again, those are the laws Deuteronomy is really interested in setting forward. These Ten Commandments are like the pre-laws, the proto-laws. And if they're a dry run, one of the things we know is that it doesn't go well, right? As we know, what's going to happen is the golden calf, and that's this terrible breakdown of like how could not following the laws almost the instant that they're given. We'll get to the golden calf story as we move through. But for now, the point of the Ten Commandments here, still near the beginning of Moses' speeches, is for Moses to remind Israel that they signed on with Yahweh way back at Horeb. Like many, many years ago, before the wilderness, that's when they first agreed to obey, right? They made a covenant back then. And in a sense, that moment of covenant making might have been like Israel's last decent moment. And God even sort of says so, right? In Moses' recollection, when the people say, "Oh yeah, sure, Moses, whatever you say to us, we promise we'll obey." And God says to Moses, man, if only they had felt this way all the time, right? If only they always were okay following my commandments, so that everything would be great for them, which is almost like a little wink and a nod to the fact that for sure, this is not what's going to happen, and it's not what happens. So Deuteronomy opens for us with a reminder of disobedience, at the spy story, and then moves back to a reminder of better days when Israel committed itself to do right. And in a sense, it's this interplay between disobedience and commitment that drives almost the entire book. Now, as Moses goes along in his speech making, he intersperses arguments for why Israel should be obedient, including history lessons, with statements of what it is that Israel should be obedient to. These are, programmatic statements that capture, in a rather more pithy manner than the big bulk of laws in the middle, some of the basic ideas of those laws. And the three basic ideas of the laws that I talked about last time, in case you've forgotten, were centralization of the cult and apostasy and the authority of the law itself. And I would say that potentially all three of those are present in the most famous of these programmatic statements,